Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds, hanging out with.
I'm Ted.
And today we have a GM 911 from our forums, and this is from Lou as a GM. And basically what he's got going on is he has one player that has a backstory where he was involved in an alchemy explosion at a mansion that's kind of out of the way. So later in the campaign, he wants to have this invasion happen, and he wants it to actually be coming from that mansion. And he wants the players to kind of figure out that it's coming from there, right. But he's looking for monsters to use.
Now, before we get too deep into this, though, why don't you investigate down below? Click Nerdarchy, the newsletter. It's a great way to get gaming tips delivered straight to your inbox, as well as learn how to game in Nerdarchy. So, hearing this story, my brain was like, oh, he's looking for something that is going to be plentiful, doesn't have any real survival instinct, so that the things can just keep coming regardless of how many is killed.
Yeah,
so,
he wants them to be suicidal.
Right. So it's like, well, to me, that leaves out most of the things in the
material
book.
plane.
Right. So you got to go elsewhere. So I immediately said, well, it was caused by an explosion. Explosions of buildings tend to have fire and stone. Somehow this explosion caused a rift in the para-elemental plane, or you could just do a straight-up elemental plane and, cause, elementals to show up. And
plus you have alchemy involved as well, so
so I got page 124 and 125 of your trusty monster manual, and you've got the four basics here, and you could use any of them, any of the stat blocks, and then just kind of change the mechanics or the visuals of it. If it's like, oh well, use a fire elemental and just call it a lava elemental, no problems. You could use the same thing with the stone, because they've got Earth Glide. Well, they kind of are part Earth too, so no big deal. And then you brought up in our...
Well, you're saying if you're going parallel elemental,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, if you wanted to go para. If you want to just stick with a straight-up elemental, you can use these as is. You're looking for a 6th to 8th level party based upon what's going on. These guys are a 5, and you can always use lesser things, from those planes as well. You talk off air about, mephits and salamanders and hazers.
Yeah, there's a lot of different elemental creatures you could bring into it.
So you could just flip through and pull out every little elemental thing, pick which plane you want it to come from, and boom, there you go.
But then I was thinking, like, if you want an alternative idea, you could go with straight up hell or the abyss, as the case may be.
You got demons and devils across them, a huge range of pages, and you're really looking at everything from as low a CR as a 1/4 and an 1/8 with your dretches and quasits and whatever have you, all the way up to approaching epic level. So you're going to easily find plenty of options there.
So one of the ideas I had too is, instead of, like, he's talking about having the players deduce that it's coming from the ruins just because of the direction, which it's kind of weak, and it doesn't really lend to the story very much, and that's the DM kind of just like taking control. Mm-hmm. If you wanted to do something a little more interesting, what you could do is have some of the demons that get slain, they could have on them things from the mansion. Mm-hmm. That are easy, that are recognizable. Like, maybe you have, maybe outside the smithy shop there was a sign hanging from a chain. Mm-hmm. Well, what's this guy called here?
A Barlgora.
Right. So they're the gorilla looking demons. Well, maybe he's wearing it around his neck like a necklace. But you could do weird things like that. Right. Jewelry or anything. That it wouldn't maybe make sense normally, but because they're demons and they're kind of mad, they'll do whatever. So they're like carting the stuff around with them, or maybe there's a weapon that's very stylized and recognizable that was carried by someone in the mansion and they have it on them.
Right.
Or a signet ring. There's tons of different things. Maybe there's a quasit or an imp, using someone's signature handkerchief as a bandana.
Nice.
You know, so there's definitely some more interesting ways you could throw clues in there than just going, well, they came from the west. The mansion that you survived the explosion from's in the west. You know, it must be the mansion.
Right.
So that I think that would be more rewarding for the players, to figure that out.
So using your mad idea and whatnot, I would definitely go with demons over devils. You know, they're more chaotic and into the thing. If you're going to use devils, there's still plenty of options, but there would have to be a reason. Like, there must be something in that town that they want, or someone.
Right. Well, the other thing I'm thinking too, like, you could take this a step further, and maybe the accident wasn't necessarily an accident.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, maybe the explosion was actually part of a warlock pact.
Right.
And the
things that are done randomly throughout the game are not always a random thing. They can be, planned as part of events that.
Yeah, so you might have this warlock mastermind that's actually opened up this gate to the abyss and is letting demons through. And part of the deal is, like, there's something in that town that has to be taken, has to be defiled, has to be overrun. Or, whoever he made the pact with just thought it would be a great lark to see that town destroyed and doesn't care how many demons he's got to throw at it.
Absolutely. And, they get banished for,
100 years.
Whoop-de-flippin'-do.
Yeah, they'll be back. There's more. We got more where they came from.
So, you could have, you had said the example of them wearing stuff from the town. Well, what happens if, you wanted to, really make it, more sinister? What if they're dragging people back?
Well, yeah, that could be it too. And you have to track them down.
And do they make it back through the portal, or do the players have to go in the portal? Mwahaha.
Well, yeah, so, like, you could really stretch this out to, like, epic levels if you wanted to. And,
absolutely.
And, the exploded mansion could be completely different when they get there, like, maybe it's not exploded anymore.
Right.
Or maybe, there's this little section of hell on earth.
And you could use that to change the the landscape forever, in that part of the world.
Yeah, it could be completely scarred or whatever. But, there's our ideas. That's some of the ways we would go about handling that. Hopefully that helps you. Lou is the GM.
So what do you guys think? Put your your suggestions for Lou as a GM down in the comments below. While you're at it, like, share, even subscribe.
You can check us out over at nerdarchy.com.
So until next time,
Stay nerdy.